Hi, my name is Carrie Matthews. This is a presentation for the class Program Planning and Development. This is a presentation about a wellness program that I've been working on in the class. It's specifically a workplace wellness program for small businesses, and I've named it Healthy Habits 2022. So just to start off with, why is there even a need for a program that's designed specifically for small businesses? A lot of corporations have wellness programs, but as we can see with this slide right here, a majority the um, of the workplaces and corporations out there don't actually have wellness programs. So 88% of all of the businesses in America have less than 20 employees. So that just shows that there's a lot of small businesses out there, period. And 40% of all enterprises in America have a gross revenue of less than $100,000. So from this, we can see that there's going to be a lot of these companies that maybe don't have the finances to have a big wellness program for their employees or even for the shareholders, the owners. The payroll levels, interestingly, you can see with this graph, the bar graph here, the lower one, it shows the different payroll levels of the different employees in various size companies. And the payroll amounts that an employee takes home is going to be lowest in those smaller companies. And with another interesting point about these demographics is that women and minorities often own smaller companies than your typical white male. So you're dealing, basically when you're dealing with these smaller companies, you're going to be dealing with minorities and women-owned companies, and those who might otherwise be underserved anyways. And that was one of the big reasons why I think that a wellness program specifically tailored for these small businesses is so important. This next graph kind of illustrates this again. The pie chart is, if you think of the total pie as being all of the companies in America, only 1/3 of all the companies in America have wellness programs. And we just saw that 88% of companies are actually small businesses. So what you're seeing is basically the larger corporations have those wellness programs. And the light green sliver in that 1/3 is going to be the small portions. Only 20% of all of the corporations that have wellness programs, only 20% of them are small businesses. The rest of them are those larger corporations. So we're definitely seeing that there's a large amount of underserved population due to lack of funding, lack of capacity, because small business owners are busy, they're tired, they're strapped for cash. And so this is a really important area, I believe. And in this particular study, which was done by the CDC, this didn't even include companies that had less than 10 employees. So this pie chart only includes 10 employees or more. And what's interesting here as well is even those programs that had, or those corporations that had wellness programs, 25% of them didn't even follow up with education. So it was just, the bare basics. So there's a lot of need in this particular area. And one other little fact is that there's a direct link between participation in a wellness program and turnover rates. There's a lower turnover rate within businesses when participants or when employees are participating in a wellness program. So the mission of Healthy Habits 2022. The purpose of Healthy Habits is to provide health education and individual health counseling to employees of small businesses and other corporations whose employees might otherwise be underserved by traditional corporate wellness programs. It's just a basic mission statement of what we're trying to do with this program. So the program outline is going to include many different facets that are hopefully going to reach people with their specific needs, whatever those needs may be. There are those who are going to have lacks in one area or another. So that's why this really, I'm aiming this to be a really comprehensive program. We're going to have health education. So this is going to include, knowledge about our bodies and anatomy and physiology and how lifestyle affects our health, and really empowering people to take their health in their own hands by having that knowledge. And this is going to touch on a real need out there in a lot of lower income or minority individuals where there might not be the health literacy that there might be in other situations, other life circumstances. We also want to include some workshops, and this is so that there's a real buddy system and a team building there, so that people are really ready to succeed, so they don't feel alone. And there's a lot of evidence out there about how teamwork is the dream work. It's, if we work within a team, we have more motivation and more ability to adhere to a program. So there's also going to be accountability, and this is going to be with things such as metrics, using metrics and goals, and other accountability steps where it just helps people to take control of their health and set those goals and reach those goals. Along with this, there will also be evaluation of knowing your numbers, knowing your metrics. And then there's also incentives. This is kind of a hotly debated topic, but there is a role for some incentive programs, at least to help get the ball rolling. A lot of times, incentives help people to get started. And then you can move into the things where you can help people to be more intrinsically motivated rather than extrinsically motivated. So some possible services that we would be offering with Healthy Habits. We're going to focus especially on the areas of nutrition, physical activity, stress management, and other lifestyle issues such as sleep, good healthy sleep patterns, those sorts of things. And some of these ways that we can reach the individuals are going to be health seminars, including friends and family. They can bring anyone they want. Some biometric screenings to know, where's your cholesterol sitting, where's your blood pressure, these sorts of things. Personalized education settings, that's where you're going to really sit down with either small groups or individuals and work on their specific needs and questions, and really provide plans for their individual lives. Then we're going to also have some literature and some resources such as websites, possibly some discussion boards, things like this, where it's going to provide something for the participants to go back to and to reference, as opposed to just that one interaction. Then we're also going to work on some frameworks for team building and buddy systems. We talked about workshops. We can also set up some specific buddies, like pairing up 2 or 3 people to be exercise buddies, that sort of a thing. We're also going to work on goal setting and building milestones. And then we're going to do some follow-up support and evaluations. And this next point is important. We're going to work with the leadership within the companies to develop policies for health. And one little example here is actually the Cleveland Clinic. They found that they had better health outcomes when they actually banned smoking. So they actually stopped hiring people who use tobacco. Now, this is a hotly debated topic, and this is not a choice that I would ever make lightly or ever force on a company. But there are those options out there to talk about, hey, do we want to require this or that health goal to actually be happening? Whether it's asking everyone to take the stairs at least 5 times a day. It could be as simple as, a water station, or cutting out sodas out of the lunchroom. These, we can explore with the companies to develop policies that might be beneficial for their entire employee population. So there are some resources that are going to be needed. We've got several different categories of resources that we're going to go over really quickly. Personnel-wise, we're going to need to include the company leadership. There needs to be a close co-working with the CEOs, the owners, any leadership positions. They've got to be on board. Otherwise, it's pretty much going to be futile. There also needs to be a company point of contact, whether it is that leadership or somebody else. We would like to have 1 or 2 points of contact. Then we need the health professionals, which are going to be us, and others as well. At least 1 to 2 people. We might bring in maybe some yoga instructors, or other people who have different aspects of the health promotion profession that they can come in and help as well. This is going to be those guest speakers as well. And then it's really important to have peer leaders. There are several studies out there that show that peer leaders are really going to help those who might be a little bit more hesitant to participate in a wellness program. It helps them to come out of their shell and to participate. We also would need several locations and logistical things. We're going to need definitely a conference room or an open space, hopefully within the company. Otherwise, we would find one. Since we do want to do some nutrition stuff, a kitchen space may be very beneficial if possible. Having a private space for consultations might be very beneficial. And then an outdoor activity space and a gym space are always helpful as well to do some physical activity, yoga classes, that sort of a thing. Some technical resources that we might need are going to be computer, projector to do presentations, a screen or a blank wall to project the presentations onto. We're going to need audio system if the space is larger. I'm going to need website, social media groups, WhatsApp groups, Zoom, having a phone to get a hold of us, that sort of thing. We need to take that all into consideration. Some other equipment that's going to be helpful. It's going to be, cooking utensils, kitchen tools if we're doing a cooking class, weights and exercise bands and exercise equipment, biometric screening equipment to help, that would be like a blood pressure cuff and a tape measure for testing your waist size, that sort of a thing. We're going to need tables and chairs and basic office supplies as well. Some other supplies that might be more perishable, I guess you would say, are going to be literature for the programs and classes. You're going to need tablecloths and decorations to make it look nice and attractive and appealing. Also, you might want to look into some promotional and incentive merchandise like t-shirts and water bottles, something to boost that morale. So these are all definitely tools and resources that we would be looking at, and they would all be tailored to each particular company and what those specific needs are. So the financial aspect is also going to be very important. There are some specific sources that I've been considering as far as finances. So primarily we would be charging the business. However, and this is a big however, the entire point of this program being tailored to small businesses is because small businesses don't have the resources that a large corporation would have. Therefore, they're not going to necessarily have the financial resources to be able to pay large fees for us to come in and do this massive program for them. So we do want to charge fees. However, we also want to have those subsidized. And so we would also be looking at donation options from the community, from various different sources to help subsidize those lower fees so that the company can actually do this work for their employees. And a third form of, sorry, a plane is taking off. A third form of financial resources is going to be possibly some grants or some government aid to assist in that subsidization. Some budgeting strategies that I've been thinking about are going to be borrowing equipment that's already available. So we can ask the participants, hey, do you guys have some exercise bands that you'd want to bring that you're not using at home? Bring them into the corporate gym space and, we'll mark your name on it, or if you want to donate it, that's fine. But kind of pool the resources, and you can do the same thing with cooking utensils. Hey, let's pull together. And this is going to also build ownership from the participants. They're putting something in from themselves, and they're making that investment in their own health as well. So another resource is going to be like thrift stores and yard sales, even to gather that equipment for that particular company, because we've got to keep in mind that this Healthy Habits program is going to be in multiple companies. So each company is going to need their gym equipment. So we can utilize some of these ways to, be more economical. We can also even take up a small collection jar by the employees, completely anonymous. Hey, this is going to be something that's provided to you by your employee, but if you want to take some ownership of it, we would be grateful for some donations as well. The financial management would be primarily done by us, at least in the beginning, with assistance from the point of contact. But eventually, as the corporation takes it over to themselves, we want to take a step back. We want to be kind of the kickstarters, but we don't want to always be dependent on, so to speak. We want each company to be able to graduate and run these programs themselves. So again, our program goals, we want to improve the health of small business employees. That's going to be musculoskeletal weaknesses. Like for example, you're hunched over in a computer system. We want to work on all of those aspects that come from working in an office, or the stress levels of being a construction worker, always on a tight deadline, and the nutrition weaknesses that might be there. We also want to provide tools for long-term individual success. So we want the people, no matter if they stay at that company or not, we want them to have individual success in their own lives and their own families. But we also want to build a framework for a good teamwork company-wide, and to bring success to this company, so that when people from the outside think of this company, they think, man, that is a company that really takes care of their employees' health. And we also want, like I said earlier, we want to empower those small businesses to continue the wellness programs independently of us. Like I said, we want to be the kickstarters. We want to come in, help, encourage, and counsel, and then be there in the future as more of a consultant basis. So in conclusion, Healthy Habits is a comprehensive wellness program designed for small businesses. The core program will include certain principles of health promotion, like the nutrition, physical education, that sort of a thing. Then the individualized program will be tailored to each company's individual needs, and it will be completely customizable to budget and resource limitations, with an emphasis on including the underserved. So we don't want to turn anybody down. We don't want to turn away any company. If there is a will, there is a way. And so any company that says we want to serve our employees' health, we want to have a wellness program, I believe that there is a way to do that. And that's the goal of the Healthy Habits program. So here are some resources that I've used to back up what I've said in this presentation. Thank you very much.